on radio, on YouTube, and on your smartphone. This is TTUTA Speaks. We invite all listeners to tune into I-95.5 every Thursday morning at approximately 7:25 for TTUTA Speaks, a program which highlights local, regional, and international issues affecting the education sector. Good morning to all listeners and welcome to TTUTA Speaks. I'm your presenter, Barry Joel Desai. This morning we are privileged to have on the segment Miss Marsha Huggins, the second Vice President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association. Welcome to TTUTA Speaks, Miss Huggins.
Good morning, Mr. Desai, and good morning to all listeners and well-wishers. Thank you for having me on this morning's program.
Last September on TTUTA Speaks, you explained the role of the Industrial Relations Department in advocating on behalf of teachers to have their concerns addressed. The more frequent concerns included the late payment of increments and allowances, poor working conditions, and unsafety of some schools. As we near the close of the academic year, can you give us an update on these issues? To what extent, if any, have they been addressed by the relevant parties?
Well, the Industrial Relations Department continues to advocate for members in different ways. Firstly, there's the construct of individual matters, where meetings are arranged between the IR departments of both the ministry and the tutor to try to resolve the issues of individual members from both primary and secondary schools. National officers also try to have regular meetings with reporting officers from the Ministry of Education, but that has been a challenge of late with the new Permanent Secretary, Ms. Jacqueline Charles. We persist, however, with ensuring that these meetings are scheduled. We also seek meetings with the Personnel Department and with the Teaching Service Commission to address issues affecting our membership from time to time. We recently also had a tripartite meeting with the Personnel Department and the Ministry of Education to highlight some of these issues with the view of having them actively addressed. With regard to some of these issues, we try to work along with the IR department of the ministry as well as with the Deputy Permanent Secretary of the ministry and other relevant parties to address issues as they come to our attention, but they have been challenging.
Along with other public servants, teachers were extremely disappointed by the meager 4% salary increase they received in the last settlement. Many are still angry and some have even directed their anger towards the association. How would you respond to these teachers? Do you think their anger is justified?
Yes, we are all disappointed. I can tell you that national officers were not at all pleased to sign that settlement. But given what was happening at the time, and with the statements being made by the chairman of the special tribunal, most public sector associations felt that they were left with no choice. I won't tell teachers that they shouldn't be disappointed. What I will tell them is to be mindful of where they direct their disappointment. It's easy to blame those who advocate and represent, but the real issue is who or what is making the impositions on us that make us uncomfortable. The employer is always seeking to squeeze more out of us, and they are not willing to pay for those services. And because teachers have bleeding hearts, we always feel that we are required to do more, but that has not served us over time. What I would recommend is that teachers work within their job descriptions as they required and avoid the additional that adds to the workload that they will never be compensated for. Take care of you first before you're able to take care of the children.
Next week Wednesday is Labor Day. TTUTA will be joining other trade unions for their annual pilgrimage from Avocat to Faizabad. Can you explain to our listeners and especially TTUTA members why it is important to attend next week's Labor Day march?
It's important to stand in solidarity with the rest of the working class. Labor Day is a day of remembrance. It's a time to remember what our forefathers did to pave the way for us to have our current terms and conditions of employment that we now enjoy. Were it not for their sacrifices, we wouldn't be where we are. And while we have won some hard-fought battles in the past, we still have a long way to go to ensure that social justice is afforded to all. There's general disenchantment among the populace. Labor Day gives us the opportunity for our collective voices to be heard. Teachers are part of the working class, and we need to have our issues and concerns seen and heard by the general public.
How is this year's Labor Day celebrations expected to differ from previous years?
Labor Day is taking a similar format to that of last year, where all the labor leaders and leaders of interest groups will be introduced formally at Avocat Junction. After those introductions take place, then the march will proceed all the way down to Charlie King Junction in Faizabad. At the junction, we'll have the normal rally where there will be a main speech that will be delivered by President General of JTUM, Mr. Ansel Roger, as well as 2 or 3 other minor speeches or greetings. What will be different about this year's march for TTUTA, however, is that our president, Mr. Martin Lumpkin, will be addressing the membership after the march at our base at the Faizabad Secondary School. The president, along with other national officers, will also be addressing the media at that location. So that's what will be different about this year's celebration for us at TTUTA.
What provisions are being made for teachers to attend this year's observations?
As is customary, the various districts and branches of TTUTA are making arrangements for transportation for members from all over the country, so members can avail themselves of that facility. We also have shuttle services that will be provided between the base, which is Faizabad Secondary School, to Avocat Junction for those who are desirous of participating in the entire march. And lunch and refreshments will be provided for those who participate. So I'm taking the opportunity at this point to encourage all of our members to come out. Let's converge on Faizabad in our numbers next Wednesday, 19th June 2024 for Labor Day celebrations.
Thank you for being with us on TTUTA Speaks this morning, Ms. Huggins. We look forward to seeing you next week in Faizabad.
Thanks again for having me on the program, and I look forward to seeing our members come out in their numbers to Labor Day next Wednesday in Faizabad.
You have been listening to TTUTA Speaks. To contact us, please dial 610-3850. That's 610-3850. Or you may email our president at president@tuta.org. That's president@ttuta.org. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where recordings of interviews, events, and other materials are uploaded regularly. Like us by giving a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe.